Right now, we do continue to cover some breaking news that is coming in at this hour to our newsroom. President Trump telling airlines this morning to consider the airspace above Venezuela closed.
Whether you believe Trump is going after Maduro because of drugs or because of their oil, I'm here to tell you it does not matter. What matters most is the safety of America and its people. And when you have your next door neighbor in bed with your biggest enemies, you've got to intervene. Unless, of course, your name is Joe Ottopen Biden.
He posted this right here on Truth Social saying, quote, "To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety." He adds, of course, thank you for your attention to this matter.
And when you have over 100,000 Americans dying from drug overdoses every year in this country, if you are a president that cares about the people, you will do something. Unless, again, your name is Joe Sleepy Biden. This video today is going to be a bit different because as a conservative, I will make a strong case to show you guys why it is imperative for President Trump to do exactly what he has been doing, which is going hard after Maduro. But I will also show you guys why it's okay to be skeptical. I will show you why it's okay to ask questions. Because you know it and I know it. America is not all innocent. But first, let us acknowledge we are in this mess with Venezuela today because of President Biden. That simple.
I do want to pop up this video on your screen right here because all of the comments, of course, coming as we are getting different video and information here. President Trump and his administration stepping up their strikes on suspected drug cartels in and around Venezuela, saying those strikes are expected to continue. And some of this video here coming from President Trump and the Secretary of Defense and War, Pete Hegseth, releasing the video of several of these strikes.
In 2024, under President Biden, Maduro lost the election, but he refused to leave power. And Biden did absolutely nothing about it. Biden was too busy sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine to protect democracy, while our next door neighbor is being ruled by a dictator, and Biden was too weak to do anything.
After more than 20 strikes against South American drug boats, President Trump is now making bold comments about what's next for Venezuela.
In recent weeks, you've been working to deter Venezuelan drug traffickers, of which there are many. Of course, there aren't too many coming in by sea anymore, if you probably noticed that. We've almost stopped. It's about 85% stopped by sea. You probably noticed that. People aren't wanting to be delivering by sea, and we'll be starting to stop them by land also.
And also, guys, Maduro did not just lose the election in 2024 and refuse to leave power. It's worse than that. In 2023, when Maduro realized how powerful and popular Maria Machado was, Maduro said, I cannot go to the election with this woman. She is too powerful. Maduro said, you cannot run. Maduro disqualified Maria Machado in 2023 for some BS. And then in 2024, Maduro allowed Edmundo to run against him, thinking Edmundo was not going to win. And Edmundo still got 70% of the vote. And Maduro said, I'm not leaving.
Ryan, the president there making it pretty clear where this is headed, but how do you see it unfolding?
Good morning, Griff. Great to be with you. Look, the president has said before that land strikes could be next in Venezuela. Yesterday, there were reports, unconfirmed still at this point, that the president and the dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, have already held a call that was last week. He's saying this week, once again, that land strikes are likely in Venezuela. So I imagine that that call didn't go particularly well. And the Navy currently has about 30% of its deployed force in the Southern Caribbean. So everything to me, Griff, tells me that we're trending in the direction of seeing land strikes on drug targets in Venezuela rather soon. And I imagine that that call yesterday that was reported on, still unconfirmed, between President Trump and Nicolas Maduro didn't go particularly well. And I imagine it's because there's really not much to say to a guy who stole an election last year and refuses to leave office if he's not actually willing to leave office.
When I tell you President Biden has been the worst president this country has ever seen, the wicked president this country has ever seen, Maduro thought Trump was gonna be as weak as President Biden. The minute Trump got to power, Trump called Maduro. It was much this year. Trump said, listen, we got to talk here. Not only you stole the election, we have hundreds of thousands of Americans dying here from drug overdoses. We need to talk. Now, does Venezuela have the biggest oil reserve in the world? Absolutely they do. That's not the point. The point is, Trump does have a legitimate reason to go after Maduro. Not only because he stole the election, not only because we have hundreds of thousands of Americans dying here every year, he is also in bed with Russia and China. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our next door neighbor is in bed with Russia. Our next door neighbor is in bed with China. And you don't think the United States of America would do anything about this?
So you fully understand the larger context of all this. These strikes started back at the beginning of September. They've continued. And as you point out, the Carrier Strike Group 12 is now in the Caribbean with the USS Gerald Ford, the largest carrier that we have. There's quite a bit of firepower there. But do you see the larger picture is ultimately hoping that Maduro will somehow just walk away before we have to move this into the direction of escalating it to land strikes?
Well, Griff, I think the point of the call, if it did in fact happen, was likely to give Maduro this ultimatum that exactly how you speak of it. This is your chance to negotiate your exit. If you don't negotiate your exit, we're going to escalate to land strikes. Again, 30% of the deployed force for the U.S. Navy in the Southern Caribbean. It's a significant amount of firepower. And the moving of the USS Gerald R. Ford to the region, I think, is one of those crossing the Rubicon moments. You don't move a significant piece of equipment like that, a carrier strike group and her associated escorts, if you don't intend to put real options on the table, Griff, for the president to consider, which involve her use.
You know what country is helping Venezuela with military equipment? Russia. Russia, ladies and gentlemen. The same reason why many of us conservatives say, you know what, Ukraine cannot join NATO. It would not be in the best interest of America for Ukraine to join NATO because we understand the risk. Ukraine and Russia, they are next door neighbors. And with that same rationale, Venezuela, our next door neighbor, cannot be buddy with Russia. Absolutely not. Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because on this channel we keep it real. America is not all innocent. So that's why when America is talking about democracy and regime change, it's okay to ask questions. We should ask questions because in the past, we've seen America going to countries to promote democracy. They support certain regime change. And after 10, 20 years, the outcome is disaster. We can take Haiti, for example. Haiti used to have a dictator. America went there and ended this regime, brought democracy, and for the past 30, 40 years, it has been nothing but a total chaos, total disaster. So we should ask questions because even within America, there are bad agents. Within certain governments, there may be, most likely there will be bad agents, both Democrats and Republicans. Yes, we will support democracy. However, we will also hold America accountable. If you go to a country, you remove a dictator and you bring democracy, you have to ensure it is real democracy. You have to ensure it is not a corrupt government. You have to ensure people are being held accountable for their crime. You have to ensure the people's life actually got better. Anyways, as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and of course, like this video is going to help me with the algorithm as we continue to grow this channel slowly but surely. We are here calling out the nonsense from these Democrats. We are here upholding and promoting conservative values because that's what we believe in: God, family, country. Repeat after me: God, family, country. May God bless you and may God bless the greatest nation on the planet. May God bless the United States of America.